Alright, so I've been working on this game for, I don't know, maybe like a month now, and I feel like I've finally gotten to the point where I'm starting to maybe prove the concept. It's very experimental, so literally everything from the visuals to the core mechanics are still very much in flux, but the general concept is that it's a horror-themed, melee-focused XCOM-like. So a lot of the decisions are based around trying to build tactical interactions in a hand-to-hand sort of way, which I haven't really seen done before, and a lot of it is also sort of trying to draw upon the sort of dread and spookiness that comes with the horror genre. So I've set it up so that I can only see things that my characters can directly see around them. The enemies sort of spawn in as you explore the level, and then areas that you've explored before will become dark again, and you won't be able to tell if there's enemies in there. So if I take this guy here, and I walk over to this enemy, I can activate his punch ability and punch this guy, and that didn't quite kill him. There's a little bit of RNG in the amount of damage that attacks do, but what I can do here is come in with my range attack guy and shoot a little invisible fireball, finish that guy off. Now the enemies take their turn, and I don't think I'll get attacked. I will get attacked. So I was close enough to that enemy that I was able to move and attack in the same turn. If you're far enough away from an enemy, obviously, much like the player, they'll have to move but not be able to attack on their turn. You can see the yellow range is areas that I can get to, but I wouldn't be able to use an ability after, and the blue range is areas that I can move to, and I would still be able to do an action. And I have to do my action after I move. Like, I couldn't punch this guy and then run away. Though that may end up changing. I know that's like the way it works in XCOM and all the sort of XCOM clones out there, but it might end up not being viable for a melee-based game. We'll see. So I think my best play here is to move back. I feel like I'm still within potentially getting hit range. Can I shoot this guy to up my chances of actually getting a kill? No, I think I'm good. Yeah, I think this one's going to come through, and then I can use his Rampage ability, which hits all adjacent targets instead of just one, to deal with these guys. All right, we're up. Yep, and then we shoot a fireball, and we clear this first room, and my camera completely breaks. So now I have to start exploring the level. I know what's in the level, though I don't really remember everything, but I've set it up so that you can move freely within your move range. So like if I want to go in here, I don't have to just select here. I can maybe go like, one space at a time. That way, if there ends up being a monster there and I don't want to be right in front of the monster, I can like maybe backtrack a little bit. So that's exactly what happened. I see a monster here. I'm going to backtrack a little bit, and then I'm going to bring up my support to a little bit behind me because I want my big tank guy in the front, obviously. Fast forward the enemy turn. Apparently, I also aggroed an enemy over here somewhere that I didn't see. I don't have my Rampage ability off cooldown yet. I think it has like 1 or 2 turns left. For some reason, all my text isn't rendering. There's totally descriptions and numbers and stuff that are supposed to show. So no, it's not an ideal situation. I'm trying to think of something reasonably clever to try to do. It's very hard to design tactical mechanics in a melee-based game like this. Once I have more complex enemies and a few more different player characters, I feel like there'll be a lot more depth. But there definitely is some, even with just basic punching and slapping, there's definitely some decision-making to be had. I think I do... Let's punch somebody to see if we can get a kill, because if this guy doesn't die from the punch, that changes what we're going to do. Alright, so this worked out well. So I definitely can't kill this character with my Psychic, but the Psychic is supposed to be more like a support, so she does very little damage, but she has these cool utility abilities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move her... How long is the range on this? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to be 1, 2, 3, 4, so I can move her... I think... It'd suck if I moved her out of range. 1, 2, 3. So she has to move here. I don't know if this is going to work out the way that I want it to, but I'm going to try to do it anyway and see if it works. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to use her Mind Swap ability which swaps places with any enemy or player. So I could use it to like save him and teleport him away, but she has less health. So what I want to do is swap up places with the enemy, which moved the enemy away. So now the enemy was too far away to attack on its turn. And I think that interaction right there is really the crux of what I'm trying to accomplish with this game. Is like things like being able to teleport swap with any character. That's the sort of tactics that are going to become this emergent, complex tactical gameplay. Because you can imagine, especially since you can target your own guys with this, if like I could deliberately get her surrounded by enemies and then teleport in my bruiser who has that AoE punch everyone around him ability, and do lots of cool sort of strategic things, especially once there are more than two characters. Like I could, we could have another character where like they place traps and then I walk my psychic into the middle of the traps and then swap places with like a boss enemy and then the enemy's like in the middle of the traps. Cool shit is going to be coming. So this goal thing is not supposed to render when I'm all far away from it. Theoretically, I'm supposed to think that potentially this room could be viable and go in here and realize it's a dead end. But I already know that there's no one in here, so I can come over this way, and I broke my own rule. I was literally just talking about how you should move only a couple spaces at a time. So I've already used his punch this turn, which means there's not much I can do. She's definitely going to get hit. I even missed the fireball. But then on this turn, we will guarantee kill this guy, even if it doesn't die to this. We have fireball, which at point blank range has a 100% chance to hit. And now I'm going to send my bruiser first. Alright, I saw an enemy spawn in there. I'm actually just going to end my turn and let this guy come to me. Punch him. Fingers crossed. Didn't quite die. I can bring her up behind him. Finish it off with a fireball. So I've got two ways I can go. Unclear which one of them leads to the goal. If I come out one, enemy spawns over there. Do you want to like try to like blitz past the enemy? No, there's literally no way that'll work. I'm just gonna end turn and let the enemies come to me. Smack this guy. And end turn so that we can both move. There's no enemies out there right now. Let's go this way. I can see because of the move range that at least this is like an open room. I don't like being in this hallway. I'm gonna go one before the door. I'm gonna peek the door. And it's just empty in here. Alright, so I'll send him up here. Send my girl in. She can come up here. We already know there's nothing there, so I'll have to move slow. Enemy turn, nothing happens. Let's peek this doorway. Yeah, sorry. This is the final gauntlet of many, many, many enemies. And I think I'm going to move him back. So we're going to maybe try to use this choke point. At some point, we're probably going to want to use his AoE, like set him up to use his AoE ability. But I can start poking at them with my fireballs from here. Hopefully not get myself killed. I've actually... So yeah, the enemies are all doing this sort of weird animation over here because they have a fallback ability. If an enemy cannot path to any of the players, there's like no valid path, it will do like a self-buff. So like if you somehow manage to set up a choke point where enemies can't get to you, they'll just start buffing themselves until they're like crazy strong. I may add something to the pathfinding where they'll like sort of queue up and like they'll try to get closer. But I really don't want this like stupid looking conga line thing to happen. So I feel like disincentivizing the player from causing this situation in the first place is probably a better plan. Which means I, as the player, am currently being disincentivized. So I'm going to bring her out of the doorway so the enemies can start filing in. Hit this guy with a fireball. It's not going to die. So if I put him in the doorway, I can easily kill this guy, but then these guys are all going to buff again, and the buff stacks. So I'm actually just going to take the hit here and let them start filing in. I can't see them right now because I don't have active line of sight, but they do exist and are doing something out there. Unless the game is broken, which is highly possible. Really don't have a good sense for how long this should be taking. Nope. Looks like it broke. Oh well. I think that was a pretty good demonstration of the current state of the game. Like I said, I'm getting pretty excited about it. I think it's coming together well. Definitely some design challenges to be dealt with in terms of how this is all going to work out, but I think there's something here. I think the genre is a really good fit. I think the spookiness lends a really interesting vibe to the tactics where, line of sight becomes so important, and I can't even tell what broke out here because my fucking my line of sight isn't out there. So like, there are enemies out there, I just can't see them. Yeah, thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next one.